Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the September 3rd City of Murfreesboro Planning Commission meeting. The first item on our agenda is determination of quorum, and we have that. And then the next item is the recognition of Kathy Jones for her service on the Planning Commission. And Kathy, if you could meet me at the podium.
No questions from us, though, don't worry.
State your address.
So I have a few fun facts about you, Kathy.
Oh,
Okay.
That didn't come from your husband, just so you know.
I'm sure he would pipe in if you needed him to.
So Kathy went to Rollins College, is that correct?
That's correct.
And you got your master's from MTSU?
Correct.
All right. And you worked in the title industry for over 20 years?
True.
Okay. And you were the managing broker for Bob Parks Realty for more than 5 years?
True.
Okay.
Yes, you got it.
And co-owner of Peddler Interiors
That's
for the last 5 years?
That's right.
All right.
I'm old.
Yeah. And then member of the Planning Commission for 27 years, from 1998 to 2025. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
97.
All right, there you go. And served as the Planning Commission Chair from 2019 to 2025, after serving as Vice Chair for many years. All right. Well, we want to recognize you for everything that you've done for the city. And this is an award for you that reads, with heartfelt appreciation for 27 years of positive contributions to the growth and vibrancy of our city, presented by the Planning Commission and the Planning Department with the City of Murfreesboro. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And thank you for all your input.
So much.
All right.
Appreciate it. Honored to have been here. Well, thank you. Thank all of you all too. Thank you all for putting up with me all that time. It's truly my honor to have served with each of you. I'll have to say, in 1998, when Bob Lamb, we were having lunch one day, and he said, "Kathy, you need to apply for the Planning Commission." And I said, Planning Commission? I said, what is the Planning Commission? I had no idea what the Planning Commission was, but I'm so glad I got to learn, that I had the opportunity, loved being a part of, hopefully helping Murfreesboro grow and grow in the right direction. It's truly my honor. I learned a lot, and hope each of you get just as much out of it as I did every day. Continue to contribute to making our city great. So thank you all so much, and thank you to Mayor Reeves that appointed me in 1998, Mayor Bragg for continuing to appoint me, and Mayor McFarland for, again, continuing to appoint me, and all the council members along the way that had to say, yes, we agree. So thank you all so much. Can't say enough about all the staff and everything they do for us as Planning Commission members to help us and help us understand what we're looking at, what we're studying, what we're trying to do for the city, and again, just trying to help us all do the right thing. So I told Matthew and Margaret Ann, they, I think, have been with me the longest as far as staff members go, but had a lot of great staff all along the way. So appreciate each and every one of you. So thank you all, and I've enjoyed it more than you could ever imagine. So
Thanks.
you
Kathy.
all do the same. Thanks.
Appreciate it. All right, we'll resume to our agenda. Ms. Jaco, do we have any public comments that were registered? Okay. The next item is approve the minutes of the August 20th, 25 Planning Commission meeting. Anyone have any changes or motions associated with approving the minutes?
Move for approval.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Vice Chair Ava Water.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Mr. Rollins.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Chair Halliburton.
Aye. All right, the next item on our agenda is our public hearings and recommendations to council. For folks that have not been to Planning Commission public hearing before, each of you will have an opportunity to speak on each of these applications. If you so choose, we're going to ask you to limit your comments to 3 minutes. However, if you are speaking on behalf of, say, a homeowners association or a neighborhood association, we will allow 5 minutes for your comments. Please direct those comments to the Planning Commission and not to anyone in the audience. At the end of the public hearing, we will answer all the questions that were brought up as part of the public hearing and not address each individual as they ask the questions. So with that, Mr. Donovan, let me read the first one on our agenda is an annexation petition and plan of services for approximately 22.5 acres located along Veterans Parkway and Old Salem Road. Randall and Deborah Robinson in the city of Murfreesboro are the applicants. Mr. Donovan.
Thank you, Chair Halliburton, and good evening, Planning Commission. So the first item before you tonight is an annexation and plan of service for 4 parcels. 3 of those parcels that are circled in red are the ones being petitioned by the city of Murfreesboro, and then the larger parcel is what is being petitioned for annexation by the Robinsons. There is also included in that some right-of-way, approximately 710 linear feet of Old Salem Road right-of-way, as well as 300 linear feet of Veterans Parkway. Some backstory on the 3 parcels that are owned by the city. Those are remnants from the Veterans Parkway project. And the Rutherford County Road Commission also reviewed the right-of-way for annexation and consented to annexation on June 23rd. This total study area is 22.5 acres and does have an accompanying rezoning request to go along with it, which will be the next item, is to rezone the property owned by the Robinsons to PRD Robinson Bend, which would potentially allow 52 single-family detached homes and 31 single-family attached homes. The annexation area is within our urban growth boundary. It borders the city limits on both the northern and southern sides of the annexation area, and the area is within our service infill area. Staff has been working with other city departments to draft a plan of service, which has been included in your packet. Due to its close proximity to the city limits, it's going to be relatively easy for the city to extend services upon annexation, with the lone exception being sanitary sewer, which the property owners will have to work with neighboring properties, particularly the Robinsons. We'll have to work with the southern property owner to extend sewer to the north to their property. There's no current timeline for that extension to take place, and that extension will be the responsibility of the developer to complete. Staff is supportive of the annexation request for the following reasons. The subject property is contiguous with the existing city limits. It is located within the city's urban growth boundary and within the service infill area, and services can be extended to the subject property upon annexation. The Planning Commission will need to conduct a public hearing on this matter, after which it will need to formulate a recommendation for City Council. I'm happy to answer any questions, and Rob Mulchan, who is representing the applicant, is here as well.
Commission have any questions for Mr. Donovan or Mr. Mulchan? If not, we'll open up the public hearing. And just to, for folks that are here for this application, the following application is the actual plan development, talking about the development itself. This hearing is with respects to just the annexation, just for reference. So anyone that would like to come and speak with respects to the annexation application, please come forward. Seeing no one, we'll close that public hearing, and any questions or comments from the Planning Commission or motions.
Move for approval, subject to staff comments.
Second the motion.
Ms. Jaco?
Vice Chair Ava Water.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Mr. Rollins.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Chair Halliburton.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is a zoning application for approximately 19.26 acres located along Old Salem Road to be rezoned, zoned PRD, Robinson Bend PRD, simultaneous with annexation. Summit Development LLC is the applicant. Mr. Donovan.
Thank you, Chair Halliburton. So this is the rezoning request for the one property that the Robinsons owns in the prior annexation. As far as adjacent land use and zoning, there's a mixture of both commercial and residential adjacent to this property. To the north is vacant property that is part of the Marymont PUD that is in place, as well as some single-family residential that is within the unincorporated county and zoned medium-density residential in the county. That medium-density residential zoning designation extends along this eastern side of the property, and there are also single-family residences there. And then along the rest of the eastern property line, the southern property line, and along the west, you have commercial highway zoned property that's in the city that is mostly vacant, with the exclusion of a cell tower that is just to the south. And then in this little notch up here, you have a single-family residence that's in the county and zoned RM, medium-density residential there. As far as the Robinson Bend PRD itself, let me get it to a layout page. So the PRD proposes 83 total units. 52 of those are single-family detached, with 31 of those being an attached product. The single-family detached product will be on a minimum 6,000 square foot lot that is minimum of 50 foot wide. Both the detached and attached homes will feature either one or two-story designs with front porches, rear patios, and two-car garages on each. The detached homes will have a minimum of a 1,400 square foot floor footprint, and the attached homes will be a minimum of 1,200 square feet for each of those additional. There are the current access for the subdivision is off of Old Salem, but there are 3 additional access points going in each of the other cardinal directions to provide access as those property to neighboring properties as they develop. The PRD itself includes several amenities. There's some open play areas in this area, as well as a soccer field and open play in the northern section. You have the mail kiosk that provides approximately 10 parking spaces that's adjacent to one of those open space areas. And then on the attached home lots, there are 10 spaces to the north, and then 6 additional spaces to the south now that have been added since this was last seen. I know there were some concerns from the Planning Commission when this was before the body last about some additional parking there to the south. Okay. As far as architecture goes of attached and single family, there are quite a few options that are in the pattern book that I'll go through, scroll through so you can see. Mr. Mulchan will have an update for you on the architecture. What they are committed to in the verbiage of the pattern book is a 30 to 36 inch water table that'll be either brick or stone, and then hardy above that. That is a 4-sided material standard that'll extend to all 4 sides of both the attached and the detached project, our products. So here's some examples of the detached product, and then the attached product here. And as I mentioned, Mr. Mulchan will have an update regarding this as well. All right. Some additional items of note: there's a type A buffer bordering this residential in the county, and a type A buffer that will back the attached product to that commercial lot, and a type D, which will back that single-family residential structure that is in the notch on the property. In your staff report, there's a note in there where public infrastructure was requesting a left turn lane into the site to accommodate traffic from Old Salem Road. And initial plans had shown that, and staff has requested that be added back to the pattern book. However, it hasn't been included yet, but there have been some discussions with staff that I'll let Mr. Mulchan explain to the Planning Commission there what the plan is for that. So we do have a plan in place that I'll let him explain further. Exceptions to the PRD, there is one exception, and that is related to parking of the attached product. They are only providing a portion of the parking in the driveway for the attached product. The PRD itself does include provisions to limit the garage spaces to parking only, no storage, and they will meet the size requirements that are present in our zoning ordinance. An additional item that I forgot to talk about with the attached product that came up when this was before Planning Commission last is there were some concerns about turns into that private alley for the attached product for our from a public safety standpoint. They have provided us turn templates showing that fire trucks can make those turns into the attached product. As far as the future land use map is concerned, it identifies this area as auto urban residential, which is targeting approximately 4 to 12 units, dwelling units per acre, and a minimum lot size of 6,000 to 10,000 square feet. In this case, with the lot being over 4 acres, there are some additional criteria that, if it can be met, would allow an attached product, such as they're proposing, and that's a maximum of 20% of the overall acreage consistent of those attached units, and a maximum of 40% of the total number of units being that attached product. The proposed PRD meets the criteria for the AUR designation in both the density and the attached unit criteria. So the AUR designation is consistent with, or the rezoning request is consistent with the land use plan, or land use map for this area. Staff is supportive of the rezoning request because the rezoning request is consistent with the future land use map designation of AUR and providing a mixture of single-family attached and detached homes. The proposed PRD is compatible with surrounding residential and commercial areas by providing a balanced mix of housing types and landscape buffers that create a transition between nearby residential and commercial areas. And the subject property is currently underdeveloped with only 2 accessory structures and situated in an area of active residential growth, making it well positioned to complement ongoing development trends and meet housing demand. Planning Commission will need to conduct a public hearing on this item and make a recommendation to City Council. I'm here to answer any questions, and Mr. Mulchan also has a presentation for the Planning Commission.
Any questions for Mr. Donovan at this point?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes,
Mr. Donovan, if we can go back to the buffer, the very buffer that faces Old Salem Road, is that I didn't get a chance to write it down, is that a D buffer or a buffer?
So you're talking about this buffer
yes.
here, correct? So it is not a buffer yard. What they're proposing there, and I apologize, I missed this, is would be in the open space area and has a 20-foot landscaped yard area there. So it's not a specific buffer type or planting type that they're looking for there.
Okay.
Any other questions before Mr. Mulchan makes his presentation? Thank you.
Good evening, Chairman, Members of the Planning Commission, Rob Mulch from the SEC. I'm here tonight on behalf of Summit Development to present to you Robinson Bend, a request for annexation in PRD zoning. You can see the site here located along the southern edge of Old Salem Road to the east of Veterans Parkway and to the north of New Salem Highway. So it's a very heavily congested area in regards to a lot of infrastructure for this development to take place. As we talked about, the zoning on the property currently is RM in the county. We're requesting PRD. As you can see in the zoning map in the upper diagram on that side, the southern portion and the western portion of the property is lined by commercial highway zoning here in the city. There's a little fragment to the west of the property that's the existing home that's still in the county under RM zoning. To the east and north is also RM zoning in the county. And to the northwest is the PUD zoning for the Marymount Springs zoning classification up in that zone there. As we talked about during Richard's presentation, this property is designated as AUR, or Auto Urban Residential. We're proposing the development tonight to stick in line with those criteria for that, as you heard from Mr. Donovan, and also in regards to the following presentation. A couple pictures really quick to kind of show you what the existing character of the property is. This is a view looking from Old Salem into the south, so you can see the existing farmland with the TVA tower that crosses through the property in the background, and then further in the background you can see the cell tower on the adjacent property to the south of us. This is a view looking back towards Old Salem across that same farm field from the other side of this TVA tower. This picture here is the house to the west that's still in the RM zoning along Old Salem. This is the house to the east of our property along Old Salem. This is a view looking along Old Salem roadway as you're looking eastbound, heading away from our property. And this is the view looking westbound back towards the Veterans Parkway intersection, where you can see the extent of the existing roadway that was built with Veterans Parkway, the curb and gutter section of that section leading up to our property line, which is falls about 10 to 15 feet short of the property. The project being proposed tonight is a PRD. We're looking for a total of 83 dwelling units. 52 of those would be single-family detached lots. 31 of those would be single-family attached townhomes on 19 acres. So you're looking a little bit over 4.3 units to the acre. So that's in line with the AUR designation for the property on that side. Open space, we're required 20%. We're actually exceeding that, making it almost 30% open space across the property itself as well. As you can see in the actual concept plan, we do have one point of access to Old Salem, and then coming into the property and following the TVA easement, we come across the property. We have 3 points of egress, as Mr. Donovan talked about, one to the west to the CH property, one to the south to that CH property, and then again, another one to the east. So we're covering all 4 boundaries of our property in regards to access to the property, whether today or tomorrow on that side. The single-family detached lots highlighted in this diagram here show you, it shows the bulk of these would be to the north, east, and southern sections of the development. This is 52 lots on 3.1 acres, or 3.3 acres. So when you're looking at this, a typical lot size would be 50 foot wide by 120 feet deep. So that's a minimum 6,000 square foot lot size, and the minimum living area for these homes would be 1,400 square feet. Mr. Donovan was talking about some of the architectural character. We do have a pretty good smattering of homes presented in the booklet, and we've been asked by staff to trim that back. And so the representative images you see in this section of the presentation tonight will be the images that are shown in your pattern book on pages 36 and 37, and then this is the single-family detached product. So in sticking with our requirements that we've outlined inside the pattern book, that we've made at least the minimum of a 30 to 36-inch high brick or stone water table with hardy board above that on all 4 sides of the buildings on that side. Of course, those brick and stone materials could go up in the amounts of percentages that you can see in these diagrams here. So these are the elevations that are on those pages that we want you to consider in regards to those architectural characteristics for the single-family detached. Next is the single-family attached townhome section. This again meets is under the 20% threshold for the AUR. So we're looking at 31 units on 3 acres, so a little bit over 8.6 units to the acre just for the townhome section on that side. These would be sold as HPR, horizontal property regime. Minimum square footage for these would be 1,200 square feet. Minimum 2 bedrooms, maximum 3 bedrooms on that side. We'll also be requesting an exception for the townhome section in regards to limiting the garages to vehicular use only. Those will be, they'll be restricted in the restricted covenants for those townhomes so that we can appropriately get enough maximum parking to meet our requirements for our parking on the development itself. These, again, are some of the representative elements in the townhome section of the booklet. These are the elevations we would ask you to consider for passage of this to City Council. Any pages that represent architecture outside of those pages would then be ripped out of the book before we get to City Council on that side. So that way, what you guys are approving tonight is what would go to council as moving forward on those.
Hey,
So-
Rob, on that picture that you got in front of us, so are some of these just single-car garages?
Yes, the interior units are single-car garages, the exterior are two-car garages on that side. So that's why we're asking for the exception to restrict the garages to car use only so that we can maintain meeting the requirements for parking for each of those units across the development. And again, starting off minimum, 30, 36-inch water table, hardy board above, those percentages of masonry material, aka the brick and stone, can go above beyond that. As talked about, we do have one point of main ingress today. We've got 3 points for future attachment and the future those developments. As we talked about, we were asked at the last planning commission to show that the standard fire truck for the city could make those turns into the development and the private side of things, where the private alley, there's a private street that's along the townhomes, that's the access for the townhomes. Those diagrams are represented in that corner there. There was also discussion during the workshop in regards to looking at opportunities to increase guest parking spaces on the southern side of that. So in working with staff, we have removed what was in the previous plan was a temporary cul-de-sac on that western side, which allowed us to gain an additional 6 more guest parking spaces on that southern end. So there's guest parking at both ends of the townhomes on that side. Open space, like I said, we've got well over the 20% minimum requirement on that side. We've got various spaces in this. The upper quadrant there where we got the soccer field and some seating areas on that side. We've got underneath the TVA easement, we've got plenty of area for open activity lawns on that side. The right-hand side, we've got actually a little seating area incorporated with that. And then, of course, we've got down in this bottom corner a little pocket park with a little fire area on that side as well. This project will also be providing some buffering to adjacent properties. In the northeastern side, we've got a 10-foot type A landscape buffer. That's for the adjacent residential property backing up to our single-family detached lots. In the southwestern side, we've got the same 10-foot type A buffer that separates our townhome section from the proposed commercial highway next door, and then providing a 15-foot type D landscape buffer between the attached townhomes and the single-family RM zone lot on the northwestern corner on that side. As part of the development package, we're looking at an opportunity to go ahead and create a good aesthetic front door to the project. So that's kind of creating that 20-foot landscape yard. And this is kind of gives you the picture that you see on the screen right there, and is also incorporated in your book. Kind of gives you an idea about what we want that front appearance to look like in regards to that, kind of putting some mounding in there, a whole bunch of different types of plant species, whether that be canopy trees, understory trees, evergreen trees, shrubs, to really make a very good looking front door presence, but also to separate the proposed homes along that roadway so that it really has a very good, clean, green look along the frontage of the property as you drive down Old Salem Road. With that being said, I'm here available if you have questions now or after the public hearing, and I appreciate your time and consideration of this.
Any questions for Mr. Mulchin?
Hey, Rob, on the single car garages, you said they were deep enough to park 2 cars, bumper to bumper?
Yes. 2 cars in the driveway and then 1 car in the garage.
Is there any buffer behind lots 45 through 52 on the south side at all on the backyards? I'm assuming the backyards will be facing veterans, correct?
Those backyards are facing, they are facing south towards the Veterans and 99 intersection, but they are separated by the adjacent property owner, which is the Foundation's property down there. So there is a pretty good distance between the back of those homes and those existing roadways on that side. And with that being zone CH, don't know what the end user on the foundation's property would end up being at some point in time on that side. But based on typical zoning, we're not required to have a buffer between single-family detached and commercial highway. Commercial highway would be providing the buffer between those uses in the future and these single-family detached units in this property.
Any other questions for Mr. Mulchin before we open the public hearing? Thank you, Rob.
Thank you all.
All right. We will now open the public hearing with respects to the PRD itself. Anyone in the audience would like to come and speak for or against this application? Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. And does the Planning Commission have any questions or comments or motions associated with this application?
If there are none, I move for approval, subject to all staff comments.
Second.
Having a motion and a second, go ahead, Ms. Jacob.
Vice Chair Ava Water.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Mr. Rollins.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Chair Halliburton.
Aye. That application is approved. The next item on our agenda is a zoning application for approximately 7.46 acres located along Bill Smith Drive to be rezoned from Commercial Highway to GDO 1 to PCD, Toyota Murfreesboro PCD, and GDO 1 TT of T Murfreesboro Incorporated is the applicant. Mr. Barbie, how are you?
Doing well, Chair. Chairman Halliburton, members of the Planning Commission. This next application before you tonight is a request on the behalf of Toyota of Murfreesboro to rezone a parcel of property from Commercial Highway and Gateway Design Overlay District 1 to Planned Commercial District and Gateway Design Overlay District 1. Apologize, I'm trying to get through all of these images.
Yeah, there were a lot of elevations in there.
Here we go. The surrounding area to the north is currently outside the city limits of Murfreesboro and is zoned residential medium density in the unincorporated areas of Rutherford County. The properties to the east and the south are zoned Commercial Highway and Gateway Design Overlay 1. There are two commercial highway parcels, one here that's not showing up and one there, that are currently vacant and zoned Commercial Highway and Gateway Design Overlay 1. The brown area here to the left is zoned Residential Multifamily 16, and Gateway Design Overlay 1 is developed as Panther Creek Park Apartments.
Mr. Barbie, why don't you scroll down to the aerial photo? That might.
Is it? Much better. The purpose of this PCD zoning is to construct a new 7,500 square foot building on the existing property. This current site is being used as excess inventory storage for Toyota of Murfreesboro. The purpose of this building would be additional auto repair, maintenance, and vehicle preparation space for their main facility located to the east. It's not intended to be a facility for customers to bring their vehicles to. Customers would still deliver their vehicles to the main facility to the east, and then Toyota of Murfreesboro employees would drive the vehicles over to this new facility in order for the work to be performed. You'll see in the building architecture that it's somewhat nondescript, and that's done intentionally so as not to attract customers or others to this property. Since you previously reviewed this application on August 20th, there have been two exceptions that have been added. The first exception that has been added to the plan book is so that the building's architecture would not be required to meet 35% void space on the exterior elevations. The second exception would be to reduce the 10-foot space between edge of drive aisles and building down to 5 feet. 5 feet is our minimum base of building planting area. 10 feet is generally required between drive aisles and the building. So those 2 exceptions have been added. Future land use for this area identifies this parcel as general commercial, which is consistent with this request before you tonight. Staff is supportive of this zoning request as described above for the following reasons. The proposed commercial use and zoning is consistent with the commercial development pattern and zoning along Bill Smith Drive. The proposed structure is approximately 300 feet away from the nearest property used for residential purposes, providing a substantial separation and buffer to mitigate any potential negative impacts. The request is consistent with the recommendations of the Murfreesboro 2035 Comprehensive Plan. The Planning Commission will need to conduct a public hearing tonight prior to formulating a recommendation to the City Council. I'm available if there are questions, and Mr. Brian Grover from SEC is also available to field any questions you may have for him.
Any questions for Mr. Barbie? All right, thank you.
And Mr. Grover has a presentation.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. Hey, Brad, I think you read that circle thing on there. I think you read that thing. You got that? Go to this side. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Brian Grover from SEC. I say to Chairman Chairman Halliburton, new name, first time. Congratulations, by the way. And the members of the Planning Commission. With me tonight is Matt Taylor, one of our senior engineers from SEC. I want to thank you for the opportunity and your consideration for this rezoning request. This request being located just behind the Toyota of Murfreesboro dealership. This is on Bill Smith Drive. You all know that Fortress Boulevard just runs just to the southeast of this image. As the site sits today, is currently used for excess inventory, is approximately 7.5 acres in size, and is currently zoned commercial highway. Similar properties to the east and south are also zoned commercial, with residential properties to the west across Manson Pike and to the north within the limits of Rutherford County. The future land use plan sees this as general commercial. That entails more of a higher intensity of commercial business with access to arterial roadways, as well as including land uses such as auto-related services as well, which you will see match quite closely to the proposed PCD. Some existing site photos. This is looking into the site from the main access point of Bill Smith Drive. And this is looking from that access point to the west. This is about the approximate location of where this building would actually be located on site. The remainder of the site is very similar to this, just parking for excess storage. This is Bill Smith Drive, the access point looking northwest as well as southeast. When it comes to the surrounding area, primarily it's commercial with some heavier multifamily residentials to the southwest. I would say that when it comes to the most conflicting land use, it would be to the north in Rutherford County with those single-family homes. However, thankfully there's that natural barrier of Overall Creek right there and quite a distance of natural woodlands around that stream to help provide a natural barrier between the two. The proposed site is going to primarily remain unchanged. As you can see here, there is a proposed building approximately 7,500 square feet in size. The existing parking lot for the remainder of the site, as well as the vegetation, will remain unchanged. There is a few existing formal open spaces that are going to remain on site as well as some proposed ones closer to the building, and the inclusion of loading and unloading zone, as you can see there on the right side of the development. I won't go over all the development standards, but there were some similarities between this and a previous PCD I think you saw come through with Mazda. Signage will be included along the right-of-way to the development to help mitigate or promote drivers to unload and load their deliveries on site rather than in the right-of-way. And those signs will be posted and visible from the right-of-way. Any additional on-site lighting will comply with the City of Murfreesboro standards. When it comes to the allowable uses for this site, the sole use for this site is going to be automotive motor vehicle repair, but this use is strictly accessory to Toyota of Murfreesboro and is not intended, and it will not be allowed to operate as a standalone site. The setbacks for the site actually remain the same as if it was commercial highway, so there's no change there. And as stated before, the existing vegetation along that natural edge and the perimeter near Bill Smith Drive will remain unchanged as well. There will be some additional landscaping around the building, and if any trees were disturbed or damaged during the process of construction, those would be replaced as well. The architecture, you will notice, is actually very similar to the service reception area at the existing Toyota dealership in terms of material, style, as well as even some of the trim they have on here. This is the elevations as you have seen from Bill Smith Drive on the top and the northern elevation on the bottom here. The eastern and western elevations, the primary difference between these would be the roll-up doors, but once again, following suit with the existing building over the Toyota dealership, these roll-up doors would primarily be transparent. There are two requested exceptions with this PCD. One being the architecture to reduce that total void space that is required below the 35% threshold, as well as the reduction of that landscape area from 10 feet to 5 between drive aisle edge and the building. Anytime a site in the GDO is over 5 acres, which doesn't happen all that often, that requirement's increased from 5 to 10 feet. So with this use of this building being as minimal and as little impact as it is, we think it would be appropriate to reduce that back down to 5 feet. If you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer those now or after the public hearing.
Any questions from the Planning Commission?
Is the existing parking lot remaining?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, they'll remove a portion of it and obviously put the building there,
right.
but the rest of the parkings remain the same.
Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, we will now move and open the public hearing. Anyone wishing to speak for or against this application? Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. And any questions, comments, or motions from the Planning Commission?
Motion to approve, subject to staff comments.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Vice Chair Averwater.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Mr. Rollins.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Chair Halliburton.
Aye. Next item on our agenda is a zoning application for approximately 0.4 acres located along East Kingwood Drive to be rezoned from RM16 to Commercial Highway. Abundant Life Christian Academy is the applicant. Ms. Smith.
Good evening, Chair Halliburton, Planning Commission. You may recall as we set the public hearing for this particular site, it is located on Memorial Boulevard at 1510. It's a pre-existing site. It's one parcel that actually has two zone districts. The front portion is zoned CH and contains an existing church that was brought before staff for some improvements on the interior of the site for, I believe, school and daycare use, and staff recognized that the back portion, which is parking for the area, which doesn't necessarily need a zone district attached to it to be the same, that they could move forward, but they should apply for a zone change for the balance of that property so that for any future work that they do on the site, that it is consistent across the board. In looking at our general plan land use designation for the site, it was designated as general commercial in character, so you can kind of see here on the back portion of the site, this kind of honeycomb area is the area, 0.4 acres, that we're anticipating to be proposed from CH or go to CH from the current multifamily residential zoning district. And the reason that staff believes that we're supportive of this rezoning request is that the CH zone district will make the entire lot consistent with the zone district. The CH zone district will help eliminate future confusion regarding whether various institutional uses are allowed on the property by right versus going to an issuance of a BZA if they did any future improvements there. And most importantly, the CH zone district is consistent with our future land use map of the 2035 general plan. So for those reasons, staff recommends approval, and this is a noticed public hearing for your consideration and recommended action to the council. If you have any questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. And I believe the applicant is here. I'm pinch hitting for Brad. It's normally in Brad's area, but
I think Mr. Taylor is here representing his client.
thank you.
Any questions for Ms. Smith? Hearing none, we'll move forward with opening the public hearing. Anyone would like to speak for or against this application? Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing, and any comments, questions, or motions from the Planning Commission regarding this application?
Move for approval, subject to staff comments.
Second.
Ms. Jaco?
Vice Chair Ava Water.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Mr. Rollins.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Chair Halliburton.
Aye.
Thank you,
Next
Commission.
item on our agenda is staff reports and other business. A mandatory referral to consider the abandonment of a drainage easement located at 2612 Dorset Street. Frank Pesse is the applicant. Mr. Barbie.
Good evening again. This next request before you is from Mr. Frank Pesci. He's the property owner of 2612 Dorset Street. He is requesting the abandonment of a drainage easement located along the eastern boundary of his property that you can see before you in red. This current drainage easement has been brought to the attention of our Murfreesboro Engineering Department. The Engineering Department has no objections to the proposed easement abandonment, as there is no infrastructure in that easement. And in addition, it is not being relied on for drainage currently. Staff is supportive of this recommendation and recommends approval based on the following following conditions. The applicant must provide the city legal department with all necessary documentation, including any needed legal descriptions and exhibits required to prepare and record the legal instrument / quitclaim deed. The drainage easement abandonment should be subject to the final approval of the legal department / quitclaim deed by the city legal department. The applicant will be responsible for recording the legal instrument or quitclaim deed and for paying any recording fees. The Planning Commission will need to discuss this application and make a recommendation for the City Council. If approved by the City Council, then the mayor will authorize and sign the necessary documents to convey the city's interest back to the property owner. Available if you have questions.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Barbie. Any questions for Mr. Barbie? Hearing none, do we have a motion?
So move, subject to all staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion in 3 seconds. Ms. Jaco.
Vice Chair Ava Water.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Mr. Rollins.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Chair Halliburton.
Aye. Last item on our agenda is a mandatory referral to consider the dedication of electric easement on city-owned property located along Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. Middle Tennessee Electric is the applicant. Mr. Shackelford Roll, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for the introduction, Chief, or Chair Halliburton. This easement is to consider the dedication of an easement along Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard for MTE. They're looking to install another utility line to connect to the one across the street to increase to stay on track with increased demand for electricity. Staff has no problem with this. We actually hope they do it and make it easier for people to grow their, or make it easier for the city to meet its future plans, contingent upon the following conditions. If approved by City Council, MTE will be responsible for providing information necessary, included but not limited to any exhibits, legal descriptions for the legal department to prepare the legal instruments. To formally dedicate the proposed easement, the legal instrument will be subject to final review and approval by the legal department. In addition to, MTE must also be responsible for the legal instruments, including the payment and the recording fee. And the exhibit can also be seen here for what exactly they're hoping to do. So the city-owned land is on this side, and the one they're looking to connect to is on the other side of MLK. And I'll open the floor up for any questions.
Any questions from the Planning Commission? Hearing none, any comments or motions associated with this application?
Move for approval, subject to staff comments.
Second.
Have a motion and a second.
Vice Chair Ava Water.
Aye.
Mr. Carroll.
Aye.
Mr. Harris.
Aye.
Mr. Prince.
Aye.
Mr. Rollins.
Aye.
Mr. Wright.
Aye.
Chair Halliburton.
Aye. Any other business before the Planning Commission this evening? If not, we're adjourned.